As Prime Minister Modi gets set to embark on this historic state visit to the US, one item that will figure prominently on his agenda is the signing of the highly anticipated Predator drone deal. The Defence Acquisition Council, led by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, has approved the deal for acquiring Predator drones from the US. This proposal will now have to be cleared by the Cabinet Committee on Security. The Biden administration had been pushing the Indian government to clear the deal ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit. When the Prime Minister meets President Biden at the White House, the two sides will sign a $3 billion deal for the purchase of 30 MQ-9 Reaper or Predator B drones. This will be in addition to the deal for jet engine technology. So why are these drones significant for India's armed forces? Can they be a game changer? The MQ-9B Sea Guardian delivers the whole package that includes real-time intelligence, airspace compliance, all-weather resilience, world-leading endurance, modular payload integration, proven multi-domain capabilities and unmatched interoperability. In fact, armed Predator drones are expected to further enhance India's intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities, along with providing armed solutions in a tactical battle area. Predators, or MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones, are manufactured by General Atomics, a major energy and defense company in the United States, and have been amongst the most successful weapon systems for taking on terrorist groups in America's war on terror against the Taliban in Afghanistan and ISIS terrorists. The high-altitude, long-endurance drones come armed with strike missiles, which can take out enemy targets with pinpoint accuracy. The drones are also likely to be used for long-range surveillance along the borders and maritime areas. The Indian Navy has led the negotiations for this deal. 15 of these drones will be allocated to the Maritime Force for surveillance operations. The plan is to distribute these drones among the three defense services. India is currently operating 2 Predator drones, which were hired on lease from Global Atomics in 2020 amidst the border tensions with China in eastern Ladakh. These have been helping the Navy keep track of activities in the Indian Ocean region. India has been using these drones for intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance sorties along the line of actual control over the Bay of Bengal, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Arabian Sea and areas around the Maldivian waters. Predator is a maritime-focused drone that can fly over the horizon via satellite, has an endurance of over 27 hours in all weather conditions and can operate at up to 50,000 feet. Now, according to its US manufacturer, the drone can safely integrate into civil airspace, enabling joint forces and civil authorities to deliver real-time situational awareness anytime in the maritime domain. A much anticipated defense deal that, and to discuss the significance of this deal, we are now joined by a very special guest. On the show with me now is former Army Chief General VP Malik. Sir, as always, it's such a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you so much for making the time. Let me begin by asking you, sir.
Thank you, Neha. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Very kind of you, sir. Thank you so much. Let me ask you this, sir. There is a very high sense of anticipation surrounding this deal. We are spending a whopping $3 billion on the purchase of 30 of these Predator drones. The question simply is, do you believe these drones are likely to be a game changer for India and its defense forces?
Yeah, I believe so, Neha. The drones that we are buying are the UAVs, as they are also called. These are Predator B, and the naval version is MQ-9B. They are called Sea Guardian. And these are hunter-killer UAVs or drones. And they have got extraordinary capabilities. I would say quite like a fighter aircraft. And I have no doubt that they will substantially enhance our intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance capabilities, as well as our strike capabilities over sea as well as land. It has got tremendous capabilities. It can be in the air for almost 35 hours at its stretch. It can travel up to 10,000 kilometers or 5,500 nautical miles. Now that means that it can easily go for about, say, 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers, loiter over that area, pick up the target, destroy it, and then come back. Incidentally, I was just looking at the distance between New Delhi and Lhasa. That distance is just about, I think, 1,350 kilometers. So it's got a tremendous capability, and it is definitely going to enhance our both surveillance, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, as well as our strike capabilities. Because as for strike purposes, it can use air to ground missiles very effectively on a pinpoint target. And also, it can use precision guided ammunition. Again, the shell which will go into, I would say, even through a window into a house. That is the kind of capability it has. So I believe it's going to be a good buy, although I know we are going to spend a lot of money. But another thing that comes to my mind is that along with purchase of this, India is also considering the facilities for its maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Now, once you have those facilities in India, that is going to enhance the capability of the UAVs and the drones that we are making in India, or we are going to make in India, and that's going to be a great technological boost. So I was watching your film before you got me on the line, and I thought that it was a good film. But this, if we have it in India, it's going to enhance their capabilities manifold.
There is no doubt about that. And sir, as you mentioned, this is going to enhance our surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities in particular, but also our striking capabilities. Now, many military planners say that once we have these armed drones, the Indian forces will be able to launch remote controlled operations and surgical strikes, such as on terrorist hideouts in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and engage targets on the Himalayan borders with China. We all recall, sir, that India has been using two of these drones that were hired on lease from the same American company in the year 2020 at the height of the border tensions with China in eastern Ladakh. So, keeping in mind our tensions with Pakistan and China, to what extent do you believe these predator drones are likely to help us?
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
As I said, it's got tremendous capabilities. Yes, I can. There's somebody asking me, you can hear me, and I don't know. As I said, it's got tremendous capabilities, both against Pakistan as well as against China, uh, because of the height at which it can operate, almost 40,000 feet high. So it has got that capability to go into over Tibet and over the Himalayas, over the LSC, etc. And it has got that pinpoint capability. In fact, I must tell you that in some cases I have heard that F-16 aircraft has been replaced by some of these drones. And there is no doubt that it can be very effective against any kind of targets because it can pick up the target, pinpoint. And as I was telling you earlier, they can even throw the rocket through the windows in a particular house. That is the kind of precision strike it can. So it's going to be a great game changer for us.
We are now joined by Air Vice Marshal Kapil. Welcome back on my show, sir. Great to see you after a long time. Hope you've been well.
Yeah, great to see you. Yeah.
Likewise, sir. So let me ask you the question that I put to the general. The Predator drone deal that's being talked about so much, it's going to cost us a whopping $3 billion. Is it likely to be a game changer for India and its armed forces? And if yes, how?
Well, without doubt, it's not just a game changer, it's a very critical strategic capability enhancer. Because here is a machine which we have been seeking, incidentally, we have been seeking this Predator from the US for almost a decade. It's important to make note of that point. But it requires international relations, especially the convergence between US and India, over the last decade or so, it's coincidental that we have come to a point that this deal is almost about to be signed. Now, the Predator, you talked about how is it a game changer. Here is a machine which is a sensor and a shooter combined. There is no sensor shooter gap. A machine senses because it is able to do surveillance. It identifies a spot, an individual, a machine, an airbase, a ship, whatever it be, and it itself attacks that particular time. So there is no gap. So it's a real time look and kill. Now, this is a capability which we haven't had till now. Even the drones that you were talking about to General Malik a while ago, the MQ-9B, which was acquired for the Navy, were only a surveillance platform. It has no weapons on it.
Yes, you're talking about the two that we hired on lease from the same company, Global Atomics, back in 2020 at the height of the border tensions with China. Those are
Yes,
unarmed.
that is true. That is
Yes.
the one I'm talking about, but that has no missiles on board.
Correct.
It has no air to surface killer capability. It cannot shoot down an aircraft in the air or a small machine in the air. So, in that sense, that is one important feature. The second feature, which is a matter of the nature of war and how it is changing, we are now into gray zone warfare. We're having warfare while in peacetime and peace while in war. Now, this is not the pattern earlier. So these type of machines have a certain degree of deniability. An aircraft, a conventional aircraft, you can claim, or you can't say it's not mine. It has markings, it's on radar. But these type of machines, you can have a certain degree of deniability.
For example,
Also,
the mystery of the Chinese balloon flying over American airspace has still
something,
not been
something
resolved.
akin to that.
We still don't
Something
know what
akin
happened
to
then.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to mark these machines with the markings of a conventional aircraft or a helicopter. The point also I wish to elaborate slightly more is in terms of what you said, the game changer. Now, there have been instances that the Americans have used the MQ-9B in Yemen. They've used it in Afghanistan against the terrorists, where you are able to actually undertake surveillance and following that process, once you have identified a target could be an individual traveling in a jeep, climbing up the mountains. So that surveillance is discrete, it's continuous, and you are able to get that target through electro-optical, thermal, or other imaging techniques. And once you have a lock on, you're able to go back to your principals, which are the specialist intelligence agencies, to confirm to you that this is the target we want to get. It goes back and forth, but everything happens in seconds. So, in a matter of 2 minutes or 3 minutes, by which you have confirmed this is the target, you launch a Hellfire missile or any other bomb or a smart weapon from this particular drone or remotely piloted vehicle and actually neutralize the target. You recall the case of General Suleiman from the Iranian Revolutionary
Yes.
Guard,
Yes.
who was targeted while sitting in a vehicle
Yes.
because he was discreetly surveillanced all the while, and then it was just a requirement of whether it was a missile or a target. Now, this is vital
Great
in
example.
terms
Yes.
of game changer situations, both in wartime situation, in gray zone warfare like the conflict or the standoff we have in eastern Ladakh for the last 3 years, also in the event of a low intensity conflict operation. If India wants to take out target A, whatever be the target A's name, it can carry out that surveillance. And that capability is in terms of operating at 50,000 feet.
Yeah.
Very few conventional combat aircraft reach that height. Secondly, the range is phenomenal, something like 9 to 10,000 kilometers. It can go virtually from Kumbakonam to Kargil 3 times over without any refueling and a fairly decent speed of 500 odd kilometers. Of course, it doesn't have a jet engine, it has a turboprop engine. But the capacity, capability, and impact that this machine can bring forth is amazing. And therefore, as you rightly said, it's a game changer. You would also notice that the number is on the cards is 15 for the Navy, 8 for the Army, and 8 for the Air Force.
Correct.
Now, this may seem ostensibly strange, but it is not. As has been pointed out earlier, Indian Ocean region is a wide swath. And for Navy to address it with its P-8I conventional jets, which are basically Boeing 737 platforms, it's very time consuming, and more than that, it affects the fleet sustainability. Whereas these platforms, MQ-9B, it will be 15 of them can more than manage the Indian Ocean region and convey the information that it seeks through surveillance to the Maritime Domain Awareness Center, located not far from where you are in Gurgaon. So you have a real-time, 24/7, all-weather situational awareness of all the ships. And if there are ships which have come in from our adversarial sources, one can track them. Another point, I think, Neha, which you perhaps will note with interest, is that there is no remotely piloted vehicle or drone or what we call the hunter-killer unmanned combat aerial vehicle, which is the Predator, of this capability today.
Correct.
Whether they're Russia or China or any of these. Yes, China has supplied 2 types of drones, somewhat similar, but far lower capability to Pakistan. That is the Kai Hong 4 and the Wing Loom 2. These are being operated by the Pakistan Air Force and Armed Forces.